So welcome to this part of this lecture, and in this section we'll be covering the OBS itself. So when you open the OBS software, it might look challenging, but it's quite easy. So when you open it, it might take you through an auto configuration wizard, and it will look like something like this. Optimize for streaming, recording is secondary. Optimize for just recording, I will not be streaming. And the last one, I will be using the virtual camera. So you have to select the one that suits your purpose. Regardless of what you select here, it can still be changed. So you can select optimize for streaming, recording is secondary. So you click next. So after that, you will come up with this page. So you can leave this setting the way it is. Don't want to alter anything here. So you leave it at either 60 or 30, but prefer 60 when possible. So once you are done with that, you hit next, and it will ask you to select the service in which you want to stream with. Now you don't have to do this immediately, so you can skip this part because we'll be coming to that later. So you can just click cancel. In this first part, we'll be covering all these sections we have at the top: the file, the edit, the view, dock, profile, scene collection, tool, and help. So starting with the file, the first thing we have here is the show recording. Now, this will show you all recordings that has been made on this software. So when you click on it, it will open your file manager. In your file manager, you can see various recordings that have been made on this software. So that's what that does. Now, this remote recording, what it does for you is that it converts MKV files that the OBS recorded into MP4. So if you have a video editing software that doesn't support MKV, what you could do is to come here and look for that MKV file that OBS gave to you. Click on it. So OBS can easily change that MKV file to MP4 without the use of an external plugin or even an external app. So all you have to do is to click Remux. So when you click Remux, you see it has been done already. So that will be there for you. So if you come to show recordings again, you can see the MP4 of that same MKV file that has been converted by OBS straightforward. So moving down, you'll come to your settings. Now in the setting panel in OBS, that's where we'll do a lot of tweaking to get the right thing from this software. So I'll be leaving the settings because we'll still be coming to it later. So I'll cancel that for now. So under this file, you also have show settings folder. Now this is where every settings you made on the OBS will be stored. So when you open OBS, it can recall it. So you can see here, you have your settings. So if you click on this basic, you see your profiles and scene. We'll be coming to that later, but just know that you could find various settings you made on OBS on that settings folder. So the next thing is show profile folder. Now when you click on the show profile folder, it's just going to dig deeper into the OBS setting folder. So for the profile, it took us deeper to where that profile folder is. I'll be coming to that later. So lastly is your exit. So I won't be doing that because I won't want to leave this software. So the next part is your edit. Now under the edit, you can find various things that can be used to make edits in the OBS software. So you have your undo, redo, which is mostly, we all know that undo is Ctrl Z, and here the shortcut for redo is Ctrl Shift plus Z. So your copy remains same, Ctrl C, and your paste is Ctrl V. So the transform is where you have various tools to make edits to things you have in your OBS software. Let's say I pull up an image on the OBS and I want to make edit. mind you, we'll be coming to this. I just want to show you how the transform works. So we'll go to the transform. As you can see, edit transform. When we click on this edit transform, it allows us to make various changes simultaneously to this image you can see on the screen. So this is position. When you move it, you see the image on the screen start moving to the side. Play with the other one, you see it starts moving up and down. So you have your rotation to rotate images. Let's say I push this up, so you can see it's rotating the images, and you have size also. So you can play around with all of these and see what you can come up with. So you have your crop left and right. So this is just a general housing for the transform. So if you make any changes you don't like, you can hit the reset and it resets it back to normal. If you come back to the edit, we have other function where you can copy your settings. Probably you want to copy the settings you've made on an image to another image, so you can copy it there. So you have the reset transform. As you can see, you have the shortcut in front of it. We have some shorter version to make edit. For example, rotate 90 degrees. Once I click on it, you see what happens. So it has rotated the image 90 degrees. So you have all that things here. Rotate 180 degree. Then you could see flip horizontally. So there's flip vertically. I'll come to this transform. You can see fit to screen. So when I click on this, it's going to fit the image to the screen. So just by clicking on the fit to screen, it fits the image to the screen without stress. So we have the stretch to screen also. So if you click on it, you see what happens. It makes the image fill the entire screen. So on the transform also, we have center to screen. Now let's say I have this image somewhere around this point. So if I click on the transform center to screen, it puts the image at the center. So that's what that does basically. Then we have center vertically and also center horizontally. So that's just what those things does. Also, you could move the image freely with your mouse also. So the other thing on the edit is we have move up, move down, move to the top, and move to the bottom. Let us say we have two images. This order moves probably this green circle. If I click on move down, it moves it at the back of the image underneath the circle. So that's just what it does. So the image is still there, but it's underneath the talking drum and co. Lastly, we have scaling. So you don't want to mess with this. You want to leave it mostly at scale to Windows. All right, so the last thing is log preview, and this can be handy in studio mode, but we're not going to studio mode because we'll be coming to it later. The last thing we have is the advanced audio properties. So most of these settings we'll be accessed from this setting in another part of this video. So we'll skip that. So the next thing is the view. So this first one is reset UI. Let's say you altered your arrangement and maybe you scattered everything and you don't know how things are. You can just come back to this view and click reset UI. Now when you click reset UI, reset it back to the default. Now the next thing is the scene list mode. Now this scene list mode will be coming to scene later. We'll just determine how you want it to be. Now it's in list form. If I change it, it will change to grid. That means side by side. So let me just put it back in the list form. Now under this view, you have these dock toolbars. So when you deactivate any of them, you see there's a lot of things, some things get off from this part below. So let me put it back. You can see these dock toolbars are those things you can see here. So let me hide it back. You can see you cannot see any tool underneath this place. So in case it happens that you can't find it, you should just know your dock toolbars is not checked. So you have source toolbar also. Now when you deactivate that, you can see something got missing on the screen here. So in case you can't find any of these here, you should know that you actually deactivated it from here. So source icon, if you deactivate it, you see something gets missing. For example, when I deactivated the source icon, you can see there's no image to point out that this is an image. So you want to put it back. You see this is image. If it's video, you see this icon. This is the icon that will show like a video icon. Then the other thing is the status bar. Now status bar is what is giving you information on your recording and your CPU below this OBS where this mouse is. So if I deactivate it, you won't see anything there. So let me switch it on back. So lastly, we have this stats. Now this stats will just give you overview of your CPU usage, disk space available, and co. So what you want to do is that you want to minimize it, come here and keep it off. So if you check it and keep it on, it will always be on your screen. So that's just that about that stat. So the next one is this multi-view screen. Now this multi-view screen is handy in the advanced section, probably when you want to display two different things in two monitors, but we'll leave that for now. So the next part is the docks. When you keep it off like this, you will see this box here. When it's not locked, click on it, it gets bigger, and before you know, you are scattering everywhere and you don't know what to do again. So in case that happens, what you can do is to click on reset docks, and it's going to fix everything back to normal. Then you can lock this dock so you don't end up scattering things the way they are. So the full height, when you deactivate it, some things will not be full on it, but most times you want to leave it on full height. It doesn't stop anything. Also, there's what we call custom browser docks. We'll be coming to that later. Now, on this your docks determine what you will see below this point. So if I take this off, you can see the scene is gone. If I take this off, you can see the source is gone. If I take this off again, the audio mixer is gone. If I take this off, the scene transition is gone. If I take this off, the controls are gone. So in case you are in this situation, you should just know you have to activate this back, or simply just do reset docks and it is going to fix everything for you once without you having to do it yourself one after the other. So this is the stats again, so that will show you information about network and co. So if you don't like seeing that, you can just deactivate that so it's not showing. Also, you can see here I have something like advanced YouTube dashboard. Now this is a custom dock that I'll be explaining in going further in the advanced aspect. So this allows you to add custom docks from website streaming platform that you want to see your OBS. So you don't have to be switching to probably your browser to see them. So you can just add them. So that's why I have them here. So moving to the profile is just like the project where you find your project name for whatever you're doing on OBS. So when you open OBS, you see your profile as untitled. So when you see it as untitled, you can click on rename to rename the profile. For example, to something you can recognize, then you have your profile there. Now, in case you want to create a new profile, all your profiles you've created will be below here. So I have some profiles already I've created. For example, this is a profile, basic live stream, and this is another profile. So profile is different from scene. So profile stores your setup, how your setup are basically your docks and what you have in that profile, like your dock settings and what you have activated, but it's different from scene. So scene is another word on its own. If you don't like a profile, you can easily just remove it, click on remove, and that is gone. So you don't have that profile there anymore. So let me go back to empty. So the next thing is importing profile, and this importing profile, before you can import a profile, it means you have exported the profile. Let us say if you want to export a profile you have now, you can just click on export, look for a place to store it, and store that profile there. So I've already stored probably one here as basic live stream profile. So once you've exported your profile, if you want to import it, you follow the same pattern. You click on import. Let's say you go to your desktop or wherever you store the profile with any name, then you select it, then you have your profile back. So the next part is your scene collection, and this scene collection is very, very important because it's going to determine what you will have here. So your scene is basically like the most important part in this OBS because it's going to structure what your viewers are going to be seeing or what you'll be recording. So when you want to create new scene, you could just click on new here, name the scene RTTT rubbish. Then once you create that new scene, you can see it here. A new scene has been created. Now, mind you, there are still various scenes here. Let me switch to this scene. Now, if I switch to that scene, you can see it is scene collection. A scene collection is different from individual scene. So scene collection is a collection of various scenes. So if I switch to scene lesson, you can see the scenes here. If I switch to scene RTT, you can see it's just one blank profile that is there because I haven't added anything. So when you open OBS, there's always a default scene that is always there, regardless of whether you added it or not. So you can't even delete it. There must be a scene there. So now you could also rename your scene collection. Note that scene collection. So you could rename the scene collection to maybe fine scene or whatever you like. Also, you could duplicate the scene collection. I don't know why you want to do that. And you could also remove this scene collection. So let us say I don't like this fine scene that I wrote there. I could just remove it there. Now let's say I have this blank scene and probably I want to export it. So you could just click on export, then look for a place to export it, then you click save. Then it's going to save that scene. Now here's the tricky part. Now if you want to import a scene into OBS, you have to take note of something. First of all, you click on add. Let us say I want to import a scene I have saved. You click on add, then let me look for where this scene is. So this is the scene. The scene is stored with scene with JSON. JSON, that's the extension for it. Now you click on open. Now don't make this mistake of not clicking on this whitish place. If you don't click on it, the scene you are trying to import, the scene collection you are trying to import will not get imported. So when you click on it and you click import, you will see that it has imported the collection of scenes that you already saved. Now, in case you imported your scene and you cannot still see it, probably I know that the scene name is scene lesson. You can just look for it here and click on it, then you see it here. So you can import a scene. If that mark is in another place, you will not see what you're supposed to see. So you just have to switch it back to be on the right place you want. So that's the name, scene collection. I saved it as scene lesson. So let me go over this place again. This scene collection. The scene collection is it stores your scene pattern for various sessions. So let us say I have a session for a scene pattern for Sunday service, Tuesday service. You want to save those collections like that because that's what you'll be using in your live stream. So you can save those scenes as collection, export them, and import them probably when you have a new PC. So it's good to always export your scene collections and import them probably on a new PC. But note, wherever system you're importing those scenes into, they must contain the same files, images and co. So if you are missing any file, you can also click on check missing files. So the last part here is the tools. So this tool is where you find some tools in OBS. Now this auto configuration wizard, this is the first thing you see probably when you are opening OBS for the first time. So you can also find it in the tools in case you want to go back there and do it. Also, you have this advanced scene switcher. Now yours is just going to be a scene switcher. I won't be going too deep into this. I'll just be showing you how it works. Probably in the advanced training I will go deeper. Now this scene switcher basically allows you to switch scene automatically. So it has settings in which I won't be going too deep into that for now. So what this scene switcher does for you is that you automatically switch different scenes during your recording or live streaming. So you have to program it. You can do a lot with it, a whole lot. But one of the simplest things you can do with this scene switcher is that first of all, you must have gone through the general and make the right settings. Then you go to your macros. Macros is just like a command you give to OBS, and OBS, it triggers OBS to do certain things. So I've created one or two macros. I won't be going to how I created it in this part. All right, see what happens to the scene when I click on start without me touching my mouse. So you can see it was changing by itself, and this can be useful probably when you are trying to switch between different cameras at different timings. So you could use the scene switcher So it can be very helpful also, but most times you'll be doing that manually with your hand. So this is the automatic scene switcher that you see by default on your OBS. You won't see this advanced one on your OBS. Lastly, you have this output timer. So this output timer is just to set the time you want your streaming to end or your recording to end, maybe hour or 2 hours time. So you can just do that. So you could click on enable streaming timer. Every time you want to stream, it will enable this feature on and it will end your stream in the hours you set. So I don't think I will need to do that. So lastly, you have script, web socket, and server setting. Those are very advanced that you might not even actually need. If we move here, we see the help portal, visit websites, log files, crash report, check file integrity, check for updates. Now you could also do this once in a while to see if OBS have updated and added new features to OBS. So you can check for updates regularly. So I believe I've covered everything in this section. So in the next part, we'll be talking about scenes and sources.